Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Today we are reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, 10th Canto, Chapter 2, Prayers by the Demigods, text 36. Please repeat. Na Nama Rupe Guna Janma Karma Bihi Nirupitavye Tava Tasya Sakshinaha Manaha Pachopyam Anumeya Vatmanaha Deva Priyayam Pratiyanti Ata Api Ki Namarupe Gunajanma Karmabir Nirupitavye Tavatasya Sakshinaha Manovachopyam Anumeyat Vatmano Deva Kriyayam Pratiyantyatapihi. Na, not. Namarupe, the name and form. Guna, with attributes. Janma, appearance. Karma vihi, activities or pastimes. Nirupitavye, are able to be ascertained. Tava, your. Tasya, of him. Sakshinaha, who is the direct observer. Manaha, of the mind. Pachopyam, words. Anumeya, hypothesis. Vartmanaha, the path. Deva, O Lord. Kriyayam, in devotional activities. Pratiyanti, they realize. Ata api, still. He, indeed, you can be realized by the devotees. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Translation. O Lord, your transcendental name and form are not ascertained by those who merely speculate on the path of imagination. Your name, form, and attributes can be ascertained only through devotional service. Purport. As stated in the Padma Purana, Ata Sri Krishna Namadi Na Bhavet Grahyam Indriyai Sevon Mukhehi Jivado Swayam Eva Spratyataha. One can understand the transcendental nature of the name, form, qualities, and pastimes of Sri Krishna through one's materially contaminated senses. Only when one becomes spiritually saturated by the transcendental service to the Lord, or the transcendental name, form, qualities, and pastimes of the Lord revealed to him. Since Krishna and his transcendental name, form, and activities are all a transcendental nature, ordinary persons or those who are only slightly advanced cannot understand them. Even big scholars who are non-devotees think that Krishna is fictitious. Yet, although so-called scholars and commentators do not believe that Krishna was actually a historical person whose presence on the battle of, battlefield of Kurukshetra is recorded in the history known as the Mahabharata. They feel compelled to write commentaries on the Bhagavad Gita and other historical records. Sevan Mukhehi Jivada Swayam Yeva Spuratyataha. Krishna's transcendental name, form, attributes, and activities can be revealed only when one engages in his service in full consciousness. This confirms Krishna's own words in the Bhagavad Gita 18:55. Bhaktyamam abhijanati yavanyachasmi tatvatah tato mam tatvato jnatva vishate tadanantaram. One can understand me as I am, as the Supreme Personality of Godhead, only by devotional service. And when one is in full consciousness of me, by such devotion, he can enter into the kingdom of God. Only by Sevan Mukha, by engaging oneself in the Lord's service can one realize the name, form, qualities of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. O Lord, the demigods say, the impersonalists who are non-devotees cannot understand that your name is identical with your form. Since the Lord is absolute, there is no difference between his name and his actual form. In the material world, there is a difference between form and name. The mango fruit is different from the name of the mango. One cannot taste the mango fruit simply by chanting mango, mango, mango. But the devotee who knows that there is no difference between the name and the form of the Lord chants Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, and realize that he is always in Krishna's company. For persons who are not very advanced in absolute knowledge of the Supreme, Lord Krishna exhibits his transcendental pastimes. They can simply think of the pastimes of the Lord and get the full benefit. Since there is no difference between transcendental name and form of the Lord, there is no difference between the transcendental pastimes and the form of the Lord. For those who are less intelligent, like women, laborer class and mercantile class, the great sage Vyasadeva wrote the Mahabharata. In Mahabharata, Krishna is present in his different activities. The Mahabharata is a history, and simply by studying, hearing, and memorizing the transcendental activities of Krishna, the less intelligent can also gradually rise to the standard of pure devotees. The pure devotees who are always absorbed in the thought of the transcendental lotus feet of Krishna and who are always engaged in devotional service in full Krishna consciousness are never to be considered to be in the material world. Srila Rupa Goswami has explained that those who are always engaged in Krishna consciousness by body, mind, and activities are to be considered liberated even within this body. This is confirmed in the Bhagavad Gita. Those who are engaged in devotional service of the Lord are already transcended the material position. Krishna's appearance in order to give both the devotees and non-devotees. Krishna appears in order to give both the devotees and non-devotees a chance for realization of the ultimate goal of life. The devotees get the direct chance to see him and worship him. Those who are not on that platform get the chance to become acquainted with his activities and thus become elevated to the same position. The Brahma Samhita 538 says, Premanjana churita bhakti vilochanena santas sadaiva hridayeshu vilokayanti yam shama sundaram achintya guna swarupam govindamadi purusham tamaham bhajami. Although Krishna's transcendental form is presented as black, devotees who are in love with the Supreme Personality of Godhead appreciate the Lord as Syama Sundara, having a very beautiful blackish form. The Lord's form is so beautiful that the Brahma Samhita 530 also states, Venam Ganantam Aravinda Dalayataksham Varhavatam Samasitambuta Sundarangam Kandarpa Koti Kamaniya Vishesha Shobham Govindam Adi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami. I worship Govinda, the primeval Lord, who plays on his transcendental flute. His eyes are like lotus flowers. He is decorated with peacock plumes, and his bodily colors resembles the color of a fresh black cloud. His bodily features are more beautiful than millions of cupids. This beauty of the Supreme Lord can be seen by devotees who are in love with him. Devotees whose eyes are anointed with love of Godhead. Premanjana churita bhakti vilochanena. The Lord is also known as Giridhari or Girivaradhari because Krishna, for the sake of his devotees, lifted Govardhan hill. The devotees appreciate the Lord's inconceivable strength, but non-devotees, in spite of directly perceiving the Lord's inconceivable strength and power, regard the Lord's activities and as fictitious. This is the difference between a devotee and non-devotee. Non-devotee cannot give any nomenclature for the Supreme Personality of Godhead, yet the Lord is known as Syamasundara and Giridhari. Similarly, the Lord is known as Devaki Nandana and Yashoda Nandana because he accepted the role of son of Mother Devaki and Mother Yashoda, and he is known as Gopala because he enjoyed the sport of maintaining the cows and calves. Therefore, although he has no mundane name, he is addressed by devotees as Devaki Nandana, Yashoda Nandana, Gopala, and Shyama Sundara. These are all transcendental names that only devotees can appreciate and non-devotees cannot. The history of Krishna and Krishna, the person, has been openly seen by everyone. Yet, only those who are in love with the Supreme Personality of Godhead can appreciate the history, whereas non-devotees who have not developed their loving qualities think that the activities, form, attributes of the Supreme Personality of Godhead are fictitious. Therefore, this verse explains, Nanama rupe guna janma karma bhi nirupitavye tavatas sakshinaha. Supreme Personality of Godhead in this connection, Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakura has given the example that a person suffering from jaundice cannot taste the sweetness of sugar candy, although everyone knows that sugar candy is sweet. Similarly, because of the material disease, non-devotees cannot understand the transcendental name, form, attributes, and activities of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, although they are actually see the Lord's activities either through authority or through history. The Puranas are old, authentic histories, but non-devotees cannot understand them, especially Srimad Bhagavatam, which is the essence of the Vedic knowledge. Non-devotees cannot understand even the preliminary study of transcendental knowledge. The Bhagavad Gita, they simply speculate and present commentaries with observe distortions. In conclusion, unless one elevates himself to the transcendental platform by practicing bhakti yoga, one cannot understand the Supreme Personality of Godhead or his name, form, attributes, and or activities. But if by chance, by association of a devotee, one can actually understand the Lord and his features, one immediately becomes a liberated person. As the Lord says in Bhagavad Gita 4:9, Janma karma chame divyam yevam yo veti tattvataha taktvad punarjanma naiti mameti sarjana. One who knows the transcendental nature of my appearance and activities does not, upon leaving the body, take his birth again in this material world, but attains my eternal abode, O Arjuna. Srila Rupa Goswami has therefore said that by affection and love for the Supreme Personality of Godhead, devotees can express their mind to him with their words. Others, however, cannot do this, as confirmed in Bhagavad Gita, Bhaktya Mam Avijanati Yavana Chasmi Tattvataha. Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Preshthaya Vitaleshamate Bhakti Vikas Swami. Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Preshthaya Vitaleshamate Bhakti Vedanta Swami. Amen. Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Prachari Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Prashati Desh. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaur Bhaktivedanta. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Nanama Rupe Guna Janma Karma Bir Nirupitave Tavatas Sakshinaha Mano Chopyam Anameya Vartmano Deva Kriyayam Pratyantyatatihi. In translation, O Lord, your transcendental name and form are not ascertained by those who are merely speculate on the path of imagination. Your name, form, and attributes can be ascertained only through devotional service. Hare Krishna. So we continue to hear the prayers by the demigods. Sometimes when purport is very short, 1-2 sentences, it's very difficult to speak. And like this also, when it's very big purport also, so many things already Prabhupada said, almost every point, possible, everything Prabhupada has already said. It's difficult to be more than that also. So Nama Rupe Guna Janma Karmabhi. Nanama Rupe Guna Janma Karmabhi. So first, Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, in his commentary, says that not only your form is Sutta Sattva, but also your name. Both name and form can be realized only by devotion. This point he says, then he says, what is that Nama, Rupa, Guna? This refers to particularly in this verse. He says there is, this verse is, he says, Guna here refers to his beautiful form and merciful glance. In this particularly, in this verse, Guna means that his beautiful form and merciful glance. And karma refers to lifting Govardhan hill. Therefore, Srila Prabhupada in the purport also is explaining this Govardhan Lila Kiridari. skillfully posing with the three bends and etc., lifting over the hill and this. And then Janma refers to his role as son of Nanda and Vasudeva. So these are the first points by Srila Vishnu Chakravarti Thakur, particularly because generally Janma Karma of Krishna, there are so many, but particularly here in these verses, it's referred to these activities, this thing. So the first point is Srila Prabhupada's words, Ata Shri Krishna Namadi Nabhave Grahyam Indriyai. This is one of the famous verses Prabhupada very often quotes. So, first of all, we should understand that this human form of life is very rare to obtain. Manusha Janma Durlabha, very rare. And in this human form of life, also someone is trying to perfect his life is, Manushanam Sakasheshu Kashit, they are very rare. And among the perfected souls who understand Krishna Tattvataha as he is, they are very, very rare. But in this human form of life, for that purpose, to understand Krishna, Atato Brahma Jigyasa. Now the chance is given to understand Brahman. What is Brahman? Brahmano hi pratishtaham, Krishna says. He is the Supreme Brahman. So understand Krishna, that is the goal of life. That is the whole purpose of all Vedic knowledge, all the Vedas, all the Upanishads, all the Puranas, everything is given for that purpose. And the chance is given to everyone. That's very important thing. The Vedic knowledge generally is learned by the higher class people. But doesn't mean that others, like in the Prabhupada quotes, without shlokas, triyo, vaishyas, sutas, sutras, they also can, paramikatim, they can also come to the supreme destination through Mahabharata, particularly Prabhupada mentions there. So everyone is given the chance. So, therefore, the human form of life is meant to understand Krishna, whatever your position may be. You may be a Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, or out of all these varnas, Chandalas, whatever your position may be. So, the point is, the chance is given, but unfortunately, the jivas in this material world, they come for their sense gratification, for their enjoyment. They want to control everything. They want to control the nature. So they are completely absorbed in that instead of they forgetting their goal, that to remember Krishna, to go back to Krishna's abode. That idea is not there. So therefore, people suffer here. So Srila Prabhupada is so merciful, and he so clearly explains what is the need of understanding Krishna. Because by the Maya's influence, the jiva in the material world, even though they are repeatedly taking birth getting old age, disease, and again dying, again. Repeatedly they go on Janma Mrityu Jara Vyadi in different forms, even in this human form, which are considered the very elevated, very high position, which are very rare to attain. Even in this human form, we all know that so much suffering is there. What to speak of if you are animal or some insect or any other creature, you suffer much more. Imagine if you are a street dog, for no reason boy comes and sees the dog and throws the stone on it. Just for him is fun, but the dog is suffered for no reason. So much suffering. But Maya put them in so much illusion, they all think, I'm very happy, I'm okay, I'm very happy. When you ask people, how are you? I'm okay, I'm very happy. Everything okay. Even though they suffer so much, but everybody is pretend, or they believe actually, because Maya puts them so much, they believe that they are okay, they are happy. Therefore, they are not thinking why I am suffering, why I cannot get out of this suffering. They don't raise this question. Most of the people live like animals. So, but Krishna appears, as Prabhupada says here, he takes unlimited avatar, he comes as avatar for the purpose to help the devotees and non-devotees, for both. Why? Because he is Sugurdam Sarvabhutanam. He is the real well-wisher of all living entities. And he really, wants to bring them, even though they don't want to think of Krishna, they don't want Krishna, because if they come to know Krishna is the supreme and he is the supreme enjoyer, and they cannot do that. They cannot enjoy here, and they have to serve, and they don't want that. Therefore, they don't want to think of Krishna. Chandra Prabhu explained that if all young boys together, they want to go for party. The boy says, I'm going with my friends for party. And parents, generally, they won't give permission for that. If they are really well-wishing parents. But unfortunately, today, some of the parents, they also wants to join with the son. So father says, okay, I will also come. Then the boy will be interested to go for party? Definitely not. Why? Because if father presents, then he cannot really, enjoy with friends. So similarly, if they think of Krishna, then they cannot enjoy it. So therefore, they don't want actually. So Maya's business becomes easy because they themselves they don't want. Otherwise, Maya has to put so many, obstacles in their Krishna consciousness. So this is the situation. But somehow, if they, they realize, if they come to association of devotees or some way in devotional service, any service or festival, whatever, the prasadam, any means, they come in touch with the devotional service, and then slowly, by the mercy of devotees, they able to realize the position of this material world and their position and how much the suffering is going on. We all have experience. Before we never thought about this Janma Mrityu Jara Vyadhi, right? Anybody was thinking this is a suffering? I don't think. I never thought that this is a suffering, you know. That's part of life. Just goes like that. Everybody dies. What is this big thing? You know, everybody gets disease. What is this big thing? That was the, you know, mood. Everybody lives like that. But by the mercy of devotees, able to realize what is our position in this material world, and then what is our actual position, what is our swarupa, slowly is revealed. Once you come to the devotees association, they engage in chanting holy name and taking prasadam and the different service and so many way. Then slowly first you stop sinful activity, come to the sattva guna platform. There is a sinless life. Then slowly understand about your constitutional position and slowly simultaneously also understand about Krishna. So this is how the jiva can come out of this material world. But for that purpose, you have to really understand Krishna as he is. Not that today many people they think, in fact in India, most of the Hindus, they think, I know Krishna, I know Bhagavad Gita. When you go for book distribution, many times we hear, I know Bhagavad Gita, I have Bhagavad Gita. Means like they understood everything like that. So easily they say like that. But what they know, that's not at all anything about Krishna. They know there was somebody, some historical person or some imaginative figure. They have this word in English, they use Hindu mythology. All the literature, anything from the Vedic literature, they call it mythology. But it's not. It's history, Purana. Mahabharata is a Purana. It's history, it's recorded. Similarly, Bhagavatam also. But it's very difficult for them to understand because they so much attached to this material sense enjoyment, and for them it's very difficult. That's what Prabhupada explains here, because they are attached to the sense gratification. They are not able to understand anything above this material platform, because they experience only material senses, material sense gratification, material sense object. Everything material is what they experience. So therefore, Atha Shri Krishna Nama Dinabhave Graham Indriye. Why this material senses is not possible to understand. So, and why? Because Krishna can be realized, or Krishna, you can know Krishna by only when he reveals it. It's not that someone can, even by reading books, Mahabharata or Ramayana or Bhagavad Gita, anything, just by simply by reading, without the proper process, proper way, following the prescribed method, you cannot understand it. It's difficult because Krishna doesn't reveal. He himself says, Naham prakasa sarvasya yogamaya samavrita. He covers himself with yogamaya. Why? Because, you see, even our practical life, here some family people are there. Then family life, there's so many ups and downs. Sometimes husband, wife, they quarrel, some issues, something comes. And sometimes very close relatives or friends, somebody comes, they, discuss with them how to solve this issue, this, that. They speak to them about their family issues because they are very close, they are very, confident, they won't misuse their issues and, therefore they reveal to them. But not to everyone, just go on the street and just speak to somebody. I have fight, a heavy fight, I quarrel with my wife, this, that. Nobody does that. Why? Because they don't want. They don't like it to do that because this fellow may misuse it by knowing about your family issues. So, similarly, Krishna does not reveal to just anybody like that. Even the big scholars, the Prabhupada says in the purport, they may be scholar, but they want to be a scholar just to be proud that I'm better than others. I know much more than others. I'm more knowledgeable than others. They become proud of it. Or some reason they become, like in Tamil Nadu, there are so many, these so-called Tamil this people, they learn different literatures for the purpose of professional stage speakers, for a different topic they like to discuss, they become a professional speakers. There are many of them actually, they know complete Kamba Ramayana. There's so many verses they can quote so freely, so much they learned. But actually, if you ask them who is wrong, you don't want to hear what they say, So offensive, some of them. So, why? Because law doesn't reveal to these people. Therefore, they are not able to understand it. Even ourselves, even though we are very, very insignificant, very small, we can't, even our position, we don't reveal to all the secrets about us to anybody like that. We discuss only to people very close. So similarly, one can know about Krishna as he is only when Krishna reveals. And when he reveals, Bhaktyamam Abhichanati, the one who has a bhakti, means he has no any material desire. He given up completely, all the material desires. Anya Pilashata Shunyam, Jnana Karmadhanavritam, Anukullena Krishnanustilanam Bhaktivatam. The one who practices the Uttama Bhakti, who is in that position, Krishna reveals. Then he can know. Otherwise, it's very difficult to understand Krishna. Therefore, in the Bhagavad Gita, he explains all the basic things, how Krishna is supreme creator, maintainer, everything he explains, particularly in the 8th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, this Prayana Kale, the time of death, how to think of Krishna. That's the question by Arjun, then Krishna explains, Anta Kalecha Mameva Smaran Muktva Kalevaram. He says this verse that in the time of death, if one thinks of me, and he comes to my abode. So then, later, another some 10, 14 verses, Srila Vishnu Chakravarti Thakur there. After that, next 14 verses, he explains how to think of Krishna, in which way. Think of Krishna, meditate on Krishna means it's not just like these scholars or, the pundits, they think that Krishna is some historical person or some, they speak also about Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, some social reformer. They use this word. Even in the school books, they write like that. But actually, Krishna's position is everything is a transcendental position. So it's not easy to understand. So therefore, in Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says that how to understand. There are so many verses. 8th chapter, this explained how Krishna is creating everything, how he is maintaining all the basic things. Similarly, in Bhagavatam also, how Krishna has unlimited energies, how he is, acting, how he is, even though so many things is happening simply by his desire, but he is, not so busy man. He is always playing flute and he's happy with his devotees. He's always blissful. So the Lord's position is not so easy to understand unless if one is devotee. So how to become devotee, that's what explained in the Bhagavad Gita and Bhagavatam and all. So particularly, even the lower class of people, the Mahabharata Prabhupada mentioned here, is given because it's so attractive. Everything is there. Anything you want to know is some attraction. If anything about some architecture, Mahabharata has so many nice descriptions is there about architecture. You can be attracted by that. If you want to know something about music, there is a lot of description. Something about love, there is some love stories are there. And so many different topics are there. So anybody can, any level, they can be attracted and they able to hear the transcendental activities of Krishna, and then slowly they can come to the platform of pure devotion. Priyo Vaishya Sutta Sutta Tepi Anti Parankate. Everybody can come. And that in this Krishna conscious movement, we see practically it's happening. Chinese people, Russian, everyone is taking up Krishna consciousness all over the world actually. If you hear what these people eat in China and all, how they can become devotee. I was recently explained to one man in Karur. The first time he came and I was speaking to him and I explained to him the Chinese people, he couldn't believe that they are taking up Krishna consciousness because they know after this corona time what Chinese people eat. Before they was thinking much, but now all world know what Chinese people eat, How these people can become vegetarian, how they can, not only vegetarian, then they become, devotee of Krishna, taking only prasadam. The person could not believe that. Then I have to show some photos, open the Google and I told that hundreds of devotees, they come for Mayapur festival every year for Gaur Purnima. They have a separate group for Parikrama and all, Russian devotees also. So it's amazing how these people also can become to this uh, platform of pure devotion, that is only, particularly in this Kali Yuga, by the mercy of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Namo Mahavadanyaya Krishna Prema Prathayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namne Gaurat Vishaya Namaha. The Rupa Goswami says he come to give this pure love of Godhead to everyone. And it's happening, especially after Srila Prabhupada went to the Western countries and spread this movement like anything everywhere. Otherwise, you see the people who are not coming to contact with proper source of knowledge, the parampara system, they may be called believers, but they may think I'm worshipping God, I'm Hindu, I'm this, I'm that, but they have no idea who is God and what is Nama, Rupa, Guna, Lila of God. Nothing. They actually most of these Hindu people, they don't even think that we have to accept the God according to authority of scriptures. They don't know this basic thing. They just believe. I believe. I like Ganesha. I like Ayappa. I like this. I like that. Therefore, he is God. But that is not the way to accept who is God, or that doesn't make one become God. Like I believe because of my belief, he becomes God. It's not like that. So therefore, it's difficult for these people to understand. But somehow, by some agyata sukriti, this, that, somehow, by the mercy of devotees, if they go out to do harinam, distribute books, distribute prasadam, in this way, they get touch with devotional service when they come, and then slowly they understand the authority of Vedas, authority of the acharyas, the importance of this process. Then they will be able to understand. Then they can give up all this material desire, and then they can become a pure devotee. Then Lord become attached to them. Like a devotee is attached to the Lord, he develop attachment. Similarly, Lord is also develop attachment. But the only condition is that with pure devotion without any material desire, then only Lord is becomes the property of his devotee. So that is really understanding of Krishna. Otherwise, one can go on, speculate, imagine so many things, life after life, they go on imagining something. They will never understand Krishna. So the point is ultimately that how we got this mercy of Srila Prabhupada through his books, through his temples and his disciples, and so many ways, we all somehow came into contact. So similarly, there are still millions of people outside who are not come in touch with Krishna consciousness. So we have a very big, great responsibility to reach them, because Prabhupada said people are not anymore. In the past, the Vedic life, people used to come to the sadhus, they come to temple to learn about God, the spiritual life. They used to go themselves. But now people are not interested. So we have to come. We have to whatever the way possible, we have to reach to them, and we have to give facility, opportunity for them to hear about Krishna. So it's very big responsibility. We have to take up seriously and give them. Then they also can understand Krishna. Then only they can get out of this suffering material world. Hare Krishna. So I stop here. Is there any question? Of course, there are many points are there. One important point, mango, Prabhupada mentioned. There is our temple commander. Simply chanting mango, 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 you will not taste. Do you hear that? Season started already for a long time. Kaunita is waiting for mangoes. This is a hint in the purpose. Prabhupada himself is saying, offer mangoes to Kaunita. Huh? Father, joy. Anything anybody wants to add? Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai.